Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Florida. And today our question comes to us from Dragoquan. And Dragoquan writes to say that his beloved cat of 22 years has recently passed into spirit. And he has now gotten a new cat. However, he is feeling guilty about this, and he wants to know if it is disrespectful to the spirit of his former cat that he has gotten this new cat. And he would also like to know if the spirit of his former cat will be held back from going forward because this new cat is in the house. And I have several things to say to this in answer, and the first one is that 22 years is a very long life for a cat. Not so for a human. And excluding a few tortoise fanciers, it is generally the case that our animal companions do not live as long as we do, and this is just part of the bargain. So in the normal course of events, a human will go through a number of animal companions during the course of their lifetime, simply by virtue of our lifetime being so much longer. But the second thing that I would say to this is that in many different cultures around the world, there are similar myths of people who go into the land of the animals. It can be different kinds of animals, whether it's the swan maidens in Russia, or the bear people in Native America, or the snake people, or various other kinds of animals. Many different myths exist in which a human enters their realm and finds that they take off their skins and they are just like us. And I have always understood these myths to be a metaphor for the idea that the soul is the same regardless of the species, that our outward form is very different, but our inner form is the same. Now, if you had been married to a person for 22 years and they died, you would naturally be hesitant to remarry, but I think in most cases they would certainly not expect you to mourn for them for the rest of your life. They would want you to remarry and be happy. Maybe not the first day, but certainly in the passage of time. And I think that this is an almost universal sentiment. I'm sure there are a few exceptions, but for the most part, our beloved ones in spirit want us to go on living. They want us to continue to be happy. And so, had you been married to someone for 22 years and they passed on, I think they would want you to take a new spouse in the fullness of time. Likewise, if your close friend of 22 years were to die, I think that they also would want you to find a new friend that you could be just as close to as you were to them. They certainly would not want you to go forward without ever having another friend. So I think it stands to reason that our animal companions feel the same way. I don't think they feel disrespected when we bring in a new animal companion. I think on the contrary, they're happy for us that we are going forward and sharing our love with others. So I don't think it's disrespecting your deceased cat at all to have taken a new cat. On the contrary, I think that it's a fine thing to do, and I think that the spirit of your cat would think the same. And I don't think it will make any difference to the spirit of your cat moving on in its spiritual path, except that it might make it easier, because it will not have to worry about you. Now, obviously this question, although it was asked about a cat who has died and gone on into spirit, is equally applicable to any kind of relationship we might have. When the other partner in that relationship is no longer here physically, usually I would assume that the spirit of that person would want us to continue and to go forward and be happy. And I think that whether it's a cat or a spouse or a friend, it's going to be the same in all cases. With, of course, a few individual exceptions because people are individual. But generally, if they loved us in the first place, they want us to be happy. And they want us to go forward with our lives. So I would enjoy your new cat, and I'm sure you have the blessing of the old cat. And you may find that the spirit of the old cat is still around you, or perhaps it isn't, depending on what it has chosen to do. But if anything, its going forward is made easier by seeing you happy and seeing you going forward with contentment. So, I think that you've done the right thing. I think that you should rejoice, and those would be my thoughts on the matter, and I hope you find them helpful. Until next time, may you blessed be. Pray for peace. Pray for love. Pray for stability. Pray for the nation where you live. Pray for the world. Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you for Pagans Tonight Radio. Pagans Tonight Radio is an online radio network with different hosts and different shows 7 nights a week. There's something for every taste, including Spanish language programming on Saturday evening. Check out paganstonight.com today.